Voting process made easy. There are two types how people can be registered for voting, manually and through online process. Your first step is to figure out which process is more effective in your district. You can understand this by meeting the DYDEO. Now let's have a look at the manual process of voting. Before you begin registration, check if you fit the eligibility criteria. You have to be Indian citizen. You have to be above 18 years. You have to be living at your current address for at least 6 months. You are not registered elsewhere. The first step in manual registration is filling out the forms. Form 6 is for registering new people for voting. Form 7 is for permanent deletion. People who already are registered to voting and want to permanently delete their name from the voting list need to fill this form. Form 8 is for any changes in the document. People who are already registered to voting, who have their voting card and want to get some errors rectified in their voting card will fill this form. Form 8A. This is for change of address within the same constituency. People who are already registered to voting, who have shifted to some other address within the same constituency need to fill this form. The second step is attaching the necessary documents. Only 4 documents are needed. First is proof of residence. That could be your electricity or telephone bill, driving license or passport, etc. Second is proof of identity. Any legal document with your photo on it. Example, passport, driving license, PAN card, etc. Third document is proof of birth. This is only for the age group of 18 to 21. Example, school leaving certificate, birth certificate, etc. Fourth is your passport size photo. All these documents need to be attested by a gazette officer or notary. After attaching the documents, recheck the forms once again. Now it's time to submit these forms. If you are a college or neighborhood leader, submit all your collected forms to the constituency leader. If you are a constituency leader, all the forms that have been submitted to you, their data needs to be collaborated. This is a very crucial step. This data needs to be filled in an Excel sheet given to you by the constituency managers. Submit this data Excel sheet to the back-end office. After your data has been verified, you will get an email that says data verified. Submit these forms to the respective ERO office. Each assembly constituency has its own ERO office, and people staying in a particular constituency can only submit forms to their respective constituency ERO office. This completes the process for manual voter registration. Let's have a look at the online process. In online registration procedure, the forms are filled online. The process of registering people online is different for different states. This procedure is dependent on the DYDEO and needs to be understood in detail from your respective DYDEO. The common part for all the states that has the provision of online process is that forms are filled online, not manually, and submitted. The procedure followed after filling of forms is different. As an example, after filling up a form, you may be either required to upload your necessary documents online, or a booth-level officer may visit your house to verify your documents. This process needs to be clarified by the DYDEO. You may consider visiting the website of Andhra Pradesh to get a glimpse of how the online process works there. www.ceoandhra.nic.in. Let's have a look at common myths people have about voting. I can vote only from my place of birth or permanent residence. It's not true. You can register to vote from any place in India as long as you're eligible voter. I don't have sufficient proof of residence to register as a voter. Are you sure? Did you know that the house lease agreement, mobile or landline bills, or your driver's license are all accepted types of address proof documents? It's not essential for the address proof document to directly have your name, but to only have the address of the place where you are staying. Students who are eligible voters can even register from their hostels. Voter ID card is essential for voting. This is one of the most common voting myths. The Election Commission of India accepts most of the common documents as identity proof, such as PAN card, driving license, ration card, student's ID proof, passport, etc. What is essential for voting, however, is that your name should be mentioned in the voters list of constituency. The only 2 types of elections are parliamentary and assembly elections. India has a 3-tier federal structure with governments at the union, the state and at the local body. In cities, the municipal corporation, and in villages, the Gram Panchayat is your local body or local government. Municipal elections happens once every 5 years to elect corporate or councillor. To learn more about how your city's government works, please visit your respective city page on this website. Registering to vote is a very cumbersome process, but not anymore. Now you can easily register to vote with the following steps. Fill out the voter registration form, fill in other details, sign and submit the form along with necessary address proof and identity proof document. Submit at your area election office and collect your receipt. Let's answer some of your frequently asked questions in the process. As a constituency leader, I will be submitting bulk forms to the ERO. Is this possible? Yes, this is possible in two cases. You can submit bulk forms of people in the same college, or you can submit bulk forms of people in the same society. An additional document will be required in this case, the principal letterhead for colleges and/or the secretary letterhead for the societies. Bulk forms can also be submitted of people from the same company, but this requires the permission of the ERO. Only if the ERO permits for the particular company can the bulk forms be submitted. I have been hearing that while submitting the application, one must also attach a photocopy of voter ID card of parents or siblings. How does that help? It is strongly recommended to do so because the election department may process your application much faster, but it only works if address of the other person is the same. What if someone is a college student staying in a hostel? How will he give a proof of residence? The student can submit a student declaration form stating his hostel and college name signed by the principal or dean or registrar. What is the eligibility for voting in the 2014 Lok Sabha elections? A person has to be a citizen of India by birth. A person has to be 18 years of age before January 1st, 2014. A person has to be living in his area of residence for at least 6 months. If someone is staying on rent, how do I get the proof of residence? The person has to attach the NOC letter from the landowner with his or her rent agreement. If someone has shifted from Delhi to Gujarat and is registered in Delhi, what forms does he or she need to fill? For any change in constituency, interstate or intrastate, you will need to fill 2 forms. Form 7 with the old address to delete his or her name from the old constituency, and Form 6 with the new address to register as a new registration in the new constituency. Both the forms need to be submitted to the ERO of the new constituency, or the person can go back to his or her old address to vote.